First of all, this was so outside media driven, and it was driving me crazy. All the talk of Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to be here. He wants to go to New York. He's definitely not going to sign his extension. He wants out, blah, 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 blah. Signs a 3-year, $150 million max contract extension. I just saw why not 4 years. It says in the 4th year, Donovan Mitchell will be, I think, a 10-year league member.
Yeah.
So he's entitled to a certain percentage of the salary cap, and his max extension can go up to like $65 million a year or something crazy. So that's why, most likely, why it's a 3-year deal. Donovan Mitchell has said the entire time he likes being in Cleveland. He was excited when he got traded here, and the entire time he's been here, he's been nothing but a great teammate. He's a top 3 Cavalier right now. Obviously, number 1 is LeBron, and then there's a lot of debate out there on who's been the second best Cav, Kyrie or Donovan Mitchell. I'm going to still give it to Kyrie. The shot, a championship.
Oh, yeah.
But Donovan Mitchell, I mean, was it 72 or 71 points? 71. He's top 3 greatest Cavaliers all time right now, and he's only been here a couple of years. So, and he's been nothing but a great teammate. He seems like he's been completely bought in. Even when we had a coach that it came out after the season that it didn't seem like a lot of guys had bought into JB Bickerstaff, but we didn't hear public complaining. At least I didn't pick up on a ton of that. Like, they seem to play hard for JB, making the playoffs. He's the Cavs franchise for the first time in our lives is relevant and good without a guy named LeBron James on their team.
Yeah.
At least, and I'm not going to say in my life, because obviously in the 90s, the Cavs were good, but I mean, I was 6 years old. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't hardly remember that. At least in my teenage to adult life, the Cavs have only ever been relevant and not basically a dumpster fire when LeBron's been on the team. So obviously the turnaround started before Donovan Mitchell got here, but he's kind of been a galvanizing force in the locker room in terms of like getting players to buy in. The first round's not the goal, that kind of thing. So this is a big get for the Cavs. Now, I don't think that he should be done. I don't know how much you guys are keeping up with it, but the East has really reloaded this offseason. So I think the Cavs are saying all the things like they're not going to split up their core 4. There's been a lot of talk that Jarrett Allen and Darius Garland are going to be on the trading block because you need the Cavs desperately need a small forward. They're very small in the backcourt right now. You got Donovan Mitchell, you got Darius Garland, and then you roll out there with Isaac Okoro at times. Like, we're very small. We get killed on the boards a lot. We get bully balled a lot. And you saw there was a lot of talk about Evan Mobley not kind of taking that next step offensively last year. And then when Jarrett Allen went out in the postseason with the ribs, Evan Mobley balled out. And you saw like, hey, maybe as much as we love Jarrett Allen, these two might not get the best out of each other. He clogs the lane too much, Jarrett Allen. You know what I mean? So Evan Mobley needs room to work. I don't want to get rid of Jarrett Allen because, one, I think he's a great teammate. I think he's a good guy, and he's one of the top centers in the league. Yeah. And at a position that's kind of like a dying position, he's still really good. So, but the Cavs got to make some moves. They're saying all the things. I have a feeling they're saying some of this stuff about not trading DG, not trading Jarrett Allen, because you're not going to come out and say you're going to do that. And then if you don't make it happen, you got 2 guys on your team who know that you didn't want them here. They start demanding trades, that kind of stuff. So you got to say all the right things. And if you are exploring trade opportunities, it's got to be on the hush. Like you can't, it's got to be tight-lipped. Nobody can know. You're calling in the like Watergate type stuff. You know what I mean? Because you can't let that get out. They got to retool the roster. You can't just bring these guys back and think, oh, if Jarrett Allen's healthy, they're going to be okay. Max Strus disappeared in the playoffs last year. Niang was fucking awful. They need a 3-and-D guy. They need a perimeter player at the small forward position, and they need a better bench. The bench last year was atrocious at times. I mean, for most of the time, they'd come in, they'd score in bunches at home sometimes, but on the road, non-existent. So, and Darius Garland struggled a lot last year. Now, he had a lot of injuries, but if the Cavs aren't going to trade him, they have to think that he's going to get back to the rising superstar that he was. Because at this moment, I don't know what you get for him in terms of what he's making in the season he's coming off of. So, and if you're going to trade him, you're talking about trading a guy who was a lottery pick and who was arguably like one of the up and coming point guards in the league, you're trying to get a haul. Yep. You're trying to get players, first round draft picks. Like you're trying to get a crazy haul. And I just don't know if you're going to get that with Darius Garland right now. Especially if you make it widely known that you want to get rid of him. People are going to start lowballing you.
That's true.
So I think the Cavs, they got to retool. They still got work to do, but I like the new hire. He's got Jarrett Allen connections. He's got Donovan Mitchell connections. Hopefully he can transform the offense. The offense last year was just Donovan Mitchell go dribble around and shoot, or Darius Garland go dribble around and shoot. There was no offense. That's why every third quarter the other team would make an adjustment and we would shit the bed. I liked JB Bickerstaff. I called it 2 years ago that he was our transition coach, not our coach of the future. I got a lot of hate for that by some people, but it just became increasingly obvious. He was a good guy to get a locker room to like, circle the wagons, not be a dumpster fire, get them to play hard, win 50 games, 45 plus games, that kind of stuff. He's just, the X's and O's was so limited. Like it just, he did not know his rotations, how to get any kind of flow in the offense going. It was bad. So I'm excited for the coaching change. I'm excited we have Donovan Mitchell back, but they got to retool a couple other things if they want to stay legit contenders in the East, because Boston's going to bring everybody back. All these other teams are.
Philly got better.
Yes. Added Paul George. And then in the big move, Klay Thompson goes to the Mavs. I know that's in the West, but just some more basketball news. So I'm excited for what the Cavs are going to do. I'm curious. It's kind of nice that we have a team worth talking about.
I think that's that's my biggest takeaway from it was just, it's a pretty big deal for the Cavs. Like it could have went two directions. It could have been, hey, we got him to sign the extension, or we're going to probably be below mid or rougher than that again for a while. So I think like just that the extension, like you said, they're not done, but it makes you a legitimate threat as far as, top 5 teams in the East.
You hope.
You would think so. Yeah.
You would think you got to get Evan Mobley and Darius Garland back on the proper ascension.
Yes. Yeah.
There was a definite lull, at least in offensive output last year for Evan Mobley until late in the playoffs. And Darius Garland was a shell of himself for most of the season. So you got to get those guys back on track. Hopefully Kenny Atkinson can do that. But I'm excited to see what the Cavs do. We'll see. It's gonna be a dogfight in the East. But getting him, we had a guy who grew up 35 minutes away from Cleveland walk away from extensions twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so to get a guy who doesn't have any Cleveland connections to sign the contract extension, like to me, that's a big get. That's a good job by the Cavs front office.
Yeah. Especially when the media seemed like the Cleveland media was trying to push him out.
Oh, everybody.
Why?
Yes.
I don't understand why our media wants to run out these very good players when they come here, like immediately.
It's what
they've been trying to run Deshaun out since he got here.
Donovan Mitchell should have won a championship in the first week of the season, his first year here. That's the way they talk. You know what I mean? Like if at any point there's a rough stretch then he's a loser, he's a bum, he's not living up to what we gave up. It's awful. Like this is not the way the league works.
Yeah, I feel like I see the draft pick thing thrown around. It's like, why are people, at least the media, so obsessed with this draft pick stuff?
In what, in basketball or
both? It seems like. They're obsessed with it in football. They're obsessed with it in basketball. It's like they're draft picks.
Especially in basketball,
major crap.
Like you get outside of almost the top 4.
I was going to say 4 or 5, right?
They're almost useless anymore. You find your gems like Klay Thompson was later, Draymond Green, who I don't think he's as good as what his career has been, but he was put in a good situation. He's a second round pick. You know what I mean? Like Giannis, I think was he top 10? I think he went to like 16th or something like that. So there's some gems obviously, but on a pretty consistent basis in the NBA draft, it's like top 5 at best. And maybe only your top 2 are actual like superstar difference makers, and the other guys are just like very good players,
like Darko.
Yeah,
or worse.
So and we've been over in football for the entire existence of this show for 4 going on 5 years. The Browns had top 5 draft picks for almost my entire life, and all I hear is about how we're a dumpster fire. So, what good are those draft picks?
Sure. Absolutely, man. Yeah, the whole draft pick thing, it's wild. And it seems like there's this mentality. What's that?
It's a boomer way of thinking.
It is a boomer way of thinking, especially, and you look at the Cleveland media, what is it? A lot of these older people. And it's this mindset of you need to build your team from scratch. Like they have to be your homegrown guys, the guys you picked, you raised them, you develop them and everything. And that's how you build your team. It's like, that's just not the way of sports right now. It is big free agent signings in basketball, it is big trades in football. That's how these teams get built so well.
Well, and so the Cavs sold their future in 2016. Well, basically 2014, 2015, 2016. They sold any kind of future they were going to have post LeBron for a championship. And it worked. We got one.
Yep.
Was it worth it?
Yes.
I'll tell you, as a guy who's at the parade.
Yeah, it was worth it, bro.
It was worth it for
yes, it was worth it.
The few years after LeBron left and we were really struggling until, we started to make this turnaround. Worth it.
Yeah, I don't care.
I'll go through, if we win the title again this year, I'll go through 3 years of shit again. If it means another title.
I've got pictures of MGK on a fire truck on my phone right now.
Yes. I still have confetti from that on my bookshelf.
Wouldn't trade it for anything.
No. So yes, you be aggressive. Like, you think the Rams are mad that they didn't have a first round draft pick for 10 years when they won the Super Bowl?
Nope.
No. The aggressive team, if you play it safe and you're always cautious, guess what you turn out to be? You turn out to be the Green Bay Packers, who had 20 years of Hall of Fame quarterback play and one Super Bowl out of each of them. And that's it. In 2 decades. The Patriots had a quarterback for 2 decades who's a Hall of Famer. And they won freaking 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the aggressive, I'd rather be aggressive and it fail than just sit there and be okay with, I'm too scared. What if this doesn't work? It could be bad. No, grow a set of nuts. Go for it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, if we're, just talking just strictly the draft pick thing, I mean, you got to have a GM like Andrew Berry, who obviously he was confident enough in himself to say, we can move these first round picks and I'm confident we're going to get players.
Yeah.
I can still get you players in the draft. I can get players in free agency. Deshaun Watson helps us get players in free agency. So let's go that direction. I love the aggressiveness. And has it worked out the first 2 seasons? No, not with Deshaun. Obviously we made the playoffs last year, but here we are. It's year 3. It's a whole new year and new hope. And here we go.
What's really funny is a lot of these people who are Browns fans who will complain about like the aggressive nature of Andrew Berry and the front office and this stuff. They're the same people who complain about the Guardians' lack of aggressiveness.
That's a great point.
All we ever do is get prospects and build up our farm team. We have one of the best farm teams in baseball. If our owner just make a trade or spend some money, we could be real contenders. And then come football season, it's what are we doing? We need those draft picks. We need all this money. They're the same people. They're the same people.
That is so right, man. Damn, that's a good point.
Yeah. It's called, those people will never be happy with anything. Like I said it before on this show, the Browns could win the Super Bowl and these people would complain and be worried that we were going to lose the parade.
Yeah, you're right.
Like there's just no making them happy. They're just miserable people.
That's true. And I mean, being very involved in social media now with the show and everything, there are some very miserable people out there that's what they do. Like their whole existence, their purpose, their core being is built on being miserable. And it's like, damn, that sucks.
And they spend so much time on it. Like when we first started this show and during football season, I'm a little bit more active, but it is so like, I almost don't even hardly check our like I get on and check our Twitter, but it's just like I don't engage with almost just because I'm like bored and tired of it. I have better things to do with my time than deal with Twitter troll 69420 in my mentions talking about how we don't how is this your life? Like
fair, yeah.
What a pathetic individual you are.
Hey man, that they get behind a fake profile and a fake name behind their screen and their keyboard, and they are some tough cookies, man.
Very tough. the keyboard warriors.
Life losers. But anyway.
I digress. I didn't intend to go from Donovan Mitchell to rant about how I don't like people.
But that's what happened. That was a very good point, though. I love that point about, the Guardians, people complaining about them not being aggressive. And then you're right, football season, it's, why'd we give up all that stuff to trade for this guy or that guy? Because they're trying to freaking win.
Yes.